Hey everyone, I am with Lee Odden, one of my favorite authors and intellects on the web. So grateful to spend some time with him here at Marketing Profs B2B. And Lee, first of all, we were talking a little bit about what are some of what's working for you as far as content these days? What's getting traction for you in your business?
Well, you know, we're at a B2B conference, and I think that one thing that really has resonated is this change in consumer behavior. Self-directed buyers are pulling themselves through the majority of the sales cycle with content, right? And yet, so there's so much content out there, as of course you've been a very big advocate of, but the demand for creation of content on a consistent basis that's engaging is so high, and people are troubled in solving that problem. So what's really been working for me is the idea of democratizing content creation outside of the silo of marketing departments and tapping into internal subject matter experts, the community that's a part of that business, as well as industry influencers. So co-creating content amongst stakeholders, constituents, that will be then used in marketing to sell to that very same audience has been working really, really well.
That's interesting. So let's say for a small to medium-sized business, what advice could you give to have them get started on an idea like that? Where would they go first?
The main thing is to be specific about the idea itself in terms of how do you want to be known, what's the topic you really want to be the best answer for, and then you identify internal subject matter experts who's aligned with with intelligence, with thoughts about that thing. Look outside to your community who's talking about that topic. Look at what industry influencers are talking about that topic. And so identify a handful of people and invite them to be a part of making something together. That's what I'd recommend. And that's awesome. Big business, small business, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
That's a way to start.
Yeah, I'm seeing that a lot. I'm getting a lot of requests to be part of that type of thing. So I definitely see that as a trend. Now, one of the things I'd like you to share with me is something that, and our audience, is that you just had a lot of wisdom in the Content Code book about how to view Google and how Google views you. And you had this analogy about making friends with people in real life and assessing people like in your neighborhood is kind of how Google assesses you and your website. Can you kind of talk a little bit about your cool analogy on that?
Well, so Google's trying to give us the best answer whenever we type in a query, and in the original patent, if you will, their 200 or the PageRank algorithm was evolved to consider well over 200 different signals to determine how to sort all the search results that come up when you search on a thing. And so there's some sort of metaphor in how to evaluate the best answer. Who do you want to be associated with from Google to real life? And one example I've used is, hey, let's say you move into a new neighborhood, people don't know you. So what can you do to create the best first impression? It's all, it's a combination of factors. There's intuitive things like, how you present yourself, there's the material things, but more importantly are the relationships. So if you, like when I, in my neighborhood, someone who was moving into the neighborhood, they actually came and visited with people. They spent time in the playground with their kids before they even moved in. And so they created some initial connections and impressions before they even got there. And so you can sow the seeds, so to speak, before the fact and create a really great framework or groundwork for how people will think when you actually move in. So what kind of house do you have? What kind of car do you drive? How do you act? What are you involved with in terms of community activities and that sort of thing? And then how much interest are you showing in other people? There are lots of little parallels between those types of things in the real world and the signals Google's trying to algorithmically and mathematically or programmatically detect to turn into the best answer in search results.
I see that, and also sometimes there's like this lapse where you've really got to be at creating this content for some period of time before Google acknowledges you. It's almost like they're testing you out to see if is this a real friendship? Is this a real relationship or not?
Sure, and the weight of what's pointing to you. Like we go, let's say there's a community party, and I use that metaphor. And so we go to the community party, and someone who's really well known amongst the community, they're on the association board or whatever, and they're very well liked, and they are the person who introduces you. And they introduce you in a context that's very complimentary. That shortens the time it takes.
Yeah, interesting. They're an influencer.
Same thing with Google. So if you have influential sites pointing to you from a link standpoint,
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's going to index you faster, it's going to create more credibility, and it's going to help you from a search visibility standpoint.
Well, Lee, awesome. Thanks so much for sharing your wisdom today. Where can people find you on the web?
You can find me at toprankmarketing.com, that's my company, or marketingblog.com is our blog, or on the Twitter at Lee, Leodden.
Lee, thanks so much.
Thank you, Mark.